Hi there, welcome to part 2. Now we're going to talk about the types of interior displays. We have the open assortment display, closed assortment display, theme setting display, ensemble display, dominance display, and tonnage display. We will work through them one by one. First of all, we have closed assortment. What is closed assortment? Very simply, it is not available for customers to touch. Merchandise is not within customers' reach. Okay, it is the advantages of this is that your merchandise will be maintained better. There's less damage to merchandise because customers are not able to touch it and pick it up at their own free will. Only salespeople can handle the merchandise, and usually salespeople would take better care, and the amount of times the merchandise is being touched is greatly minimized. So it also means that there's less shrinkage. Less shrinkage means that the stocks are missing less frequently. This is because stocks are less likely to be pilfered, stocks are less likely to be misplaced, again because of the very low amount of handling that merchandise gets. So we can imagine that closed assortment would be used for merchandise that are more valuable, that are generally smaller. For example, expensive watches. Okay, open assortment, that's the opposite of closed assortment, which means that merchandise is accessible to customers. Customers are free to touch and feel the merchandise, handle them, pick them up. That means that less staff is actually needed because since customers can help themselves to the merchandise, they do not need a sales staff to show them the merchandise, to unlock the fixture and show them a watch, for example. They can actually just pick it up and try it on themselves. But this means that there's a higher chance that merchandise could be damaged or misplaced. And display fixtures in this sense can be a lot more flexible because you do not need a lock and key for all of your displays. So your hanging racks is just that, a hanging rack. It doesn't need a glass casing. It means that you can have a lot more free play in how you use your fixtures. And it also means that your fixtures are a lot less expensive to produce and buy because again, no lock and key, no glass fixtures. Your hanging rack would cost a lot less if it's just a hanging rack. If you need a glass casing with a glass door and lock and key around it, your fixture is going to cost a lot more. Uniqlo, a very clear example of open assortment. You can see all of the items are available on display. You can look for the sizes yourself. You can feel the texture of the t-shirt. You can look for the colors yourself. Okay, next we have theme setting display. It is really showing what your theme of the store is together with your merchandise and props so that you want to communicate a certain feel or mood or season like what we talked about in themes previously. And ensemble display, you want to display a complete ensemble of merchandise, which means that if you are, say for example, if you are Zara, you want to show a hat and a scarf and a jacket and a t-shirt and a pants and a belt and a pair of shoes and a bag, all different categories of women's apparel. Yeah, so how you want to show customers how they can put it together so that if possible, customers will feel inspired to buy the whole ensemble. Let's see some example. A theme setting display. You can see this supermarket shelf, or maybe it's a hypermarket shelf, I'm sorry. You can see all the different Halloween merchandise on it. It's all dressed up for the theme. And this is an ensemble display, like what I was saying, using the example of Zara earlier. This is Topshop. They show you a bag, they show you a hat, they show you stockings, they show you the coat, they show you the scarf. They want to inspire you and show you how these different items can be mixed and matched and put together. Okay, the types of interior displays. Next, we have dominance display. It is basically talking about an element that dominates the whole display. That means the whole display is all about a certain color. The whole display is all about a certain brand. I mean, for department stores, the whole display could be at a common price. The whole display could be all at 50% discount, for example, or all at $2 each per item, or all of a different size. Let's see some examples of this. You can see this display, it's all yellow. Okay, so it's very color dominated. Everything yellow being put together as one display. Or this display, very interestingly, it is a element dominated. The element being a bottle, different bottles. So you have, let's say, bottles of olive oil, bottles of vinegar, bottles of different types of sauces all put together. And because it's all in this same shape, it has this dominance effect. And lastly, we have tonnage display. What do we mean? It means that large quantities of merchandise are being put together. Large quantities of the same merchandise are being put together. Again, Uniqlo, very strong example of a tonnage display. It looks as if they don't even need stock rooms anymore because all of their stocks are out on display. Okay, and then when we talk about this store planning and store design, sound is a great part of it. Nowadays, it's not just visual anymore. It's also when you walk into a store, what sort of music do you hear? Is it loud? Is it soft? Is it fast? Or is it slow? And whether the music reminds you of something, a song that you've heard before, it makes a difference. Or is it a very unfamiliar song, a song that is brand new, you never heard before, that will inspire you differently? So, how do we make decisions on what sort of music? It really depends on who are we selling to and what are we selling. So if, for example, you're selling a rock t-shirt, you will want to play fast, upbeat, fast tempo music. If you are in a sports store selling shoes, you also need to play relatively upbeat music. You need to play vibrant, you need to express vibrancy, you need the customers to feel active. If you're in the supermarket, you want customers to slow down, take their time, look at all the merchandise that they are exposed to slowly. Then you want to give them a familiar song and that is slow and relaxes them. And moving on to scent, this is an area that's very, very, very popular and very new in retail, but it's making great strides in affecting the moods of customers and increasing how much customers are spending in stores. Because scent can really help to relax people. It can really help people to remember a store, bring back certain memories as well. So it really depends on whether your scent is going to be merchandise focused or brand focused. What do I mean? Merchandise focused means if you are selling, say for example, a bakery, you're selling bread and pastries, you will want the customers to smell the wonderful smells of baking. So it's very merchandise focused. But if it's brand focused, then what do we mean? It means that like a Shanghai Tang, before you walk into the store, you can smell it. They have a very signature scent that is strongly put out at each of their stores. So the store has become part of the brand. Okay, so it doesn't have to be necessarily in line with the merchandise. Their scent is a little bit floral. Yeah, so it is just a smell that is associated with the brand, that customers have learned to associate with the brand. For brand-focused smells, it could be floral, it could be woody, musky, citrusy, depending on how you perceive your brand image and how you would translate that into a scent. So for examples of all this, like I was saying earlier about the bakery, it could also be a cookie store, like we have Famous Amos always giving away free smells. You could smell the baking and that makes you hungry, that makes you want to eat the cookies. Or during Christmas, all the stores would have pine scents to help you have that Christmas feel.